Hi Libra, and welcome to your December 2024 horoscope. I hope you're excited for the last month of the year, and I hope you are looking forward to the new year ahead. Maybe it feels a bit too far still, but I wanted to let you know that I have opened my books for the year ahead 2025 readings. There are only 5 spots left, so make sure you grab one before they're gone. I'll leave the link for it down in the description box and in the comments. We start off the month on December 1st with a new moon in the sign of Sagittarius, which is taking place in your 3rd house. You are starting a new period, a new adventure when it comes to sharing your opinion and communicating what's on your mind. I won't get into the new moon here because honestly we could talk about it for a very long time. But if you are curious and want to learn more about it, I will link you to this dedicated video I did on the new moon in Sagittarius so that you can learn all about it. A couple of days later, on December 4th, we have a square between the Sun and Saturn. For you, this is affecting your 3rd and 6th houses. You might feel a bit restricted this day because of that square from Saturn. And specifically, you might feel restricted in the way you communicate it. I know that we talked about this new adventure that you're beginning when it comes to your communication, sharing your opinion. A couple of days later, though, you might be facing some type of roadblock. Don't take it too seriously because honestly, the Sun square Saturn is quite a quick transit anyways. Be very patient. Know that most of the time you can still reach your final destination. You might just need to take a detour or think of a different approach to getting there. 2 days later, on December 6th, we have Mars going retrograde. For you, Mars is going retrograde in your 11th house, but keep in mind that as it moves backwards, it will also end up entering the sign of Cancer or your 10th house. Therefore, you will probably feel both themes, the themes of both of these houses come up during this retrograde. So up until February 2025, you most likely will feel frustrated. And you will feel frustrated because there are certain actions, steps you're trying to take, but you just can't get anywhere. It seems like every time you have to stop because of one reason or another. And specifically for you, Libra, this has to do with your career and it has to do with any pursuing any future goals and plans. You want to take a step to get there. You want to take a step to be able to own a house one day, but somehow you have to keep starting and stopping in order to get there. Be very patient with yourself. Honestly, there's not much we can do, and keep in mind that this is just for a season. By the time February comes around, things should start moving a lot more smoothly. The next day, on December 7th, Venus enters the sign of Aquarius, and as it does that, it conjuncts Pluto. And on the same day, we also have Jupiter opposing the Sun. Because both of the good planets are challenged, Venus and Jupiter, that is, you might feel like things are a little bit challenging on this day. You might especially find yourself facing some challenges when it comes to any travel you're doing or any education you're taking, maybe some knowledge that you're trying to grow into. But as a result, because of those challenges, things just not moving as well in that area, you might start to sort of question, like, why am I even doing this? Why am I looking for these pleasures? Why am I looking for moments that make me happy? Why do I need moments of creativity and fun anyways? So getting a little bit existential about what fun and pleasure bring into your life and why you do or you don't want to have them in your life. The next day, on December 8th, Neptune will go direct in your 6th house. Neptune going direct means that you might be falling back in love with your routine and with your health. When Neptune was retrograde, you might have felt like the veil was lifted and you were like, oh, okay, so this is what's really happening with my health. Now that it's direct, you might start to romanticize it again. It might feel a little bit more easygoing. Just be very careful that you're not being disillusioned in certain areas still. A couple of days later, on December 12th, we have an opposition between Venus and Mars. For you, this opposition is happening in the 5th and 11th house. And what this means is that you feel torn in two different directions on this day. There is this part of you that feels like you want to be selfish and you want to just pursue your own plans. Be like, I am going to buy a house in a couple of years and I don't care what gets in the way. I'm going to get there and I'm going to do it. I don't care what I have to do to get there. And on the other hand, there's this other part of you that feels like, yeah, but it's important to enjoy the here and now and to cultivate meaningful relationships and to have pleasures like a comfortable environment or good music or good experiences. So you will feel the tension between these two parts of you. Then we reach the middle of the month and we reach it with a full moon in the sign of Gemini. So on December 15th, this full moon is taking place in your 9th house, Libra. So you are reaping what you sowed when it comes to the actions you've been taking with your travel, the actions you've been taking with your education. It could be positive, it could be more challenging. It all depends whether you've been acting aligned to who you are and what you believe in, or whether you've been making decisions that are based on other things like what people think of you or your status or any other motivators. A couple of days later, on December 20th, we have Venus trining Jupiter. This should feel like a really nice aspect. And for you, Libra, this is taking place in your 5th and 9th house. You might find yourself on this day that you are feeling a lot more motivated with your travel and with your education. You're feeling like you have a little spark, and you're getting that spark from the fact that you've been seeking everyday pleasures. Maybe you've been putting on good music or eating really delicious food, or you've been making sure that your environment is nice, or maybe even pursuing some romantic relationships. But somehow all of that is feeding very positively into some of these challenges that we've talked about when it comes to your travel or education. The next day, on the 21st, the sun enters Capricorn, or your 4th house. So if you want to feel rejuvenated, if you want to feel excited to jump out of bed, from the 21st onwards, you should focus on your family, on your home, and on your internal world. We're almost there. We have just 3 transits left to talk about. The next one is on December 24th, and it's a square between Jupiter and Saturn. And yes, we have had this square a couple of times now. And this is because first the planets were moving direct, and now they're retrograde, so they hit that square again. The square is happening between your 6th and 9th house. So you're most likely facing some difficulties with your day-to-day routine and your health. And that's also quite challenging when it comes to the travel ambitions or the education that you're taking. It's this sort of idea that, maybe there is a certain health problem that comes up and you need to go check it out, but it's causing you to perhaps not be able to focus as much on your studies or miss a lot of your studies, for example. Now that is just one example. Please don't feel like I'm, predicting a health crisis at all. But there is some tension there between these sort of long-term plans, like studying for something or planning for a long travel, versus the very tangible real requirements of your body right here and right now. The second last transit of December is on the 28th, and it's a square between Venus and Uranus. For the last couple of years, Uranus has been in your 8th house, and you've been learning how to take your own unique approach to intimacy and vulnerability. On this day, however, this unique approach to intimacy and vulnerability might be making it difficult for you to just enjoy the here and now, to enjoy everyday pleasures. And finally, we close off the month on December 30th with a new moon in Capricorn in your 4th house. This is in an angular house, so it might be a new moon that's quite important for you, Libra. A new moon is a new beginning, so you might be starting a new chapter with your family, starting a new chapter where maybe you have a resolution to take better care of your home, or maybe even starting a new chapter where you're more devoted to exploring your inner world and your emotions. So that is your horoscope for December, Libra. Thanks for joining me. I hope it makes you look forward to the month. There's lots of good opportunities for growth and learning. And for you specifically, we saw a couple of houses being highlighted over and over. We had the 4th house with your family. We had the 5th house with creativity and self-expression, pleasure. We had the 6th house with your routine and health. And then, of course, we can't forget the 9th house, which means there will be a lot of focus this month also on any travel, education, or maybe even in general, your life values and life philosophy. So a couple of different things that keep coming up this month. So I hope you take good notes and just enjoy whatever the month brings. Don't forget that if you are curious for what 2025 has in store for you, I do have my books open. I have 5 spots available for year ahead readings. We'll sit down and take a look at exactly what you can expect. We'll take a look at whether this year is a year for career or a year for friendship or a year for partnerships. So you'll get a little bit more clarity on that. I'll leave the link for you down below in the description box as well as in the comments. Thanks again, Libra, and I hope to see you again soon.